Okay, in the one video I mentioned my wife is going to need surgery, and some people would like to know what it is. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, this is pretty intense surgery. You may be grossed by this, but I will describe it. And if you have a weak stomach, click off now. My wife is getting a surgery on her spine, and it's probably one of the worst surgeries a person can do. And they will always tell you, don't get your spine work done. She has no choice. Okay. She has disc degeneration disease. Basically, the jelly between the bones, is gone. So you got bone rubbing on bone. There is nothing more painful than that. She's already had this done once. And literally, what they do is they cut you from ear to ear. They cut your throat. They grab the skin, pull it over your face, take what's in here, where you swallow your tube and everything, push it aside, and now they can see the spine. They don't go in from the back because, well, you got all your wires going down there. Better chance of doing something they shouldn't want to do. When they go in through the front, there's nothing there but the bone. So they put a titanium plate there, drilled it, and screwed it. So two vertebrates fuse together and form one big vertebrae, but you lose, range of motion. She had also lost feeling in the bottom of her face through that first surgery. And that was years ago. It was over 10 years ago. Well, over time, she formed spurs, so little pieces of bone is sticking out. And it's very painful. She is taking pain pills. And it's getting to the point where she's eating them like candy, and that's got to come to an end. So now she's going in again. And she goes in on the 9th. So the one day we went, I think it was yesterday, we went and she got blood tests done. She got x-rays. I was in Nashville for almost 6 hours waiting for her to have all this stuff done to prepare for the surgery. Now, how we deal with this surgery is I have a lazy boy that has motors that lifts her out of the chair, that lifts the thing in front of her. It's a very nice lazy boy. She's going to live in that chair for well over 3 months. She's not a quick healer. Most people are out and about usually within about 8 weeks. She won't be. She'll take 3 months. That's what she took last time. And I have a porta potty with handles, which she prefers. I have many different types of porta potties, but she likes the one with the handles. And I have it all set up in her bedroom in such a way where she's literally just taking one step and turning and doing what she has to do. That's it. Now, not only that, this gets expensive because she can't eat regular food. When they put all this back and they stitch it back, well, the throat is very sore. It's very tender because they moved it, right? So what's going to happen is I need to go pick her up canned spaghetti or make spaghetti. I need to pick her up things like macaroni and cheese, things that go down very easy. It's not healthy food. I mean, basically, we're trying to find food soup, for example. We're trying to find food that tastes good and things that can be made easy. So literally, I don't have to be there at every waking moment. My son can pop a can in the microwave. Here's a bowl of soup, and away you go. And me and my son will be on full time, keeping an eye on her and watching over her while she heals. When she goes in for her surgery on the 9th, she may be there one night. She may be there 3 nights. Is why they check her and keep an eye on her. At that time, I will load her into the truck when they say it's okay. I will bring her home. By then, all the ice will be gone, thank God, and sit her down in her brand new Lazy Boy, and she will be there for quite some time. She'll have a neck brace on for probably a good couple of weeks to keep from moving her neck around, is what she'll have. Only time she'll take that neck brace off is when she takes a shower. Now, she may not take a shower for a couple of weeks, and it's a little bit of a walk to get to the bathroom. If she wants, I'll give her a sponge bath. But basically, it's a pretty intense surgery is what that is. And I don't wish that on my worst enemy for anybody to go through that. Now, when it's all done and she heals up 3 months from now, hopefully those burn spurs are not pressing up against any of those lines going down your back, and a lot of her pain will be gone. Which brings me to a new subject of what if shit hits the fan and you have somebody that's not healthy? Look, common sense says if you're on any form of pain pills or any form of pills whatsoever, metformin if you're diabetic or whatever, you should be putting, a little bit of weight here and there. That's just common sense. People have always done that. They'd say take 2 a day, you take 1 and you suffer through it. And the next day you take 2 and then and that's what you do. Now, I'm not a doctor. Don't do what I tell you to do unless you want to. But that's what we do. And basically, she has enough pain pills for over a year, is what she has, if she has to endure something. And this is very important. The other thing, insulin has to be put in a fridge. And if you're diabetic, that is very important. So you want to make sure you have a fridge that will plug into an electrical outlet. You can get coolers now that do that. Sometimes you don't want to run the generator. Even if you don't have one, they're kind of a pain in the butt to use if you don't maintain them. It would be very frustrating if all of a sudden you need your insulin taken care of. You go start your generator and it don't start. This happens to a lot of people. They don't have the spark plug. They don't have the parts. You're not just buying a generator. You want to get parts for it too. Gas goes bad. I mean, there's a lot of things to keep track of to keep your medicine going. Now, I remember back, there was a war picture I watched when I was much younger. I think I was 16. I don't remember the name of it. If you remember the name of this war picture, please send me the name because I would like to rewatch it. It was during World War II, and there was, 10, 20 people in a line, and they were walking through a creek up to their chest in water. And as they looked up, they could see the Germans hauling their tanks and everything across the bridge. And this was at nighttime as they were going. And one woman had a baby that started crying. And everybody kept looking at her. You're going to give away a position. And they're not going to take you into custody. They're just going to shoot you right there. And that's all there is to it. She pulled her baby into her chest and her baby died to quiet the baby. And could you do that? Because these 20, 30 people or so, had she not done that, they would have all died. Rough times, right? Can you imagine what they're going through in Ukraine and the choices they're making? And in these other ridiculous countries where they just shoot people for no reason. And we live in a very, very amazing country in the United States of America, and we're very lucky. We really are. But as you get older, things break on your body. You become a diabetic. You throw out your back. You throw out your legs. I mean, you break a hip. You could break a hip, and while you're sitting in a lazy boy healing, shit hits the fan. You ain't going nowhere. And it comes down to the point where people are just going to have to accept death. And that's all there is to it. You think about it, we had people dying in this ice storm. So, and that's a very simple thing. If it's something major, the power ain't coming back on. First thing Russia attacks is all the power companies, nuclear factories. That's what it takes out. The drones can hit all of them now. You are definitely going to be without power. And even if you have a generator, it's just a matter of time before the gasoline stations are empty. And they can't run unless they have power. So you have to really consider you're going to be down to the point of like camping with a tarp. That's what your house is going to be a refrigerator. And if something like that happens, hopefully you're young and you're in good shape. But if you're old like me, 61, you start getting in your age, now I can still camp and everything, but maybe I won't be able to when I'm 70, maybe when I'm 80. But the thing is, there are going to be a lot of people out there making a lot of decisions on whether they're going to leave somebody behind, or they're going to say, look, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to stay right there and I'm going to die with them. That's possible too. This is the reality, the truth of what is going to happen. So keep that in mind. And some people will accept it quite easy. Some people off themselves. I mean, you don't know what's going to happen until that time comes, and hopefully that time never comes. But the bottom line is, older people are more acceptable to that choice than what younger people are. But the problem is younger people aren't too smart. They don't have that common sense like I was saying in another video where people were still starting generators in garages and getting carbon monoxide poison, and these were like 27-year-olds. So you do need some smarts and some knowledge and some skills. And all this is very, very important, is what it is. And I've always, like, I have this bunker, which it's a tornado shelter. I got 18 tons of concrete above my head. Tornado comes through here, I'm fine. I just sit there, and as long as I got internet, I'll be playing Division 2 while the tornado rips apart everything. I'm fine. But the average person in, I see people get trailers wiped out. I see their houses get wiped out. I don't think people in general are ready for something like if Russia or China did attack us and we went into a World War III. I don't think people are built to accept that. People in Ukraine are amazing what they're dealing with and how quickly they adapted. They really are. And I don't even think basic people have tourniquets. I mean, I have like 10 tourniquets in my truck. When I go camping, I carry 4 tourniquets. I mean, I don't think people have the basic medical or even how to use it. That's the other thing. I don't think people know how to do that. And people are also, I find, to be very soft. They're not very strong. And that is going to matter too. But you prepare the best you can. And you want to prepare for the worst, World War III. Because disease, infections, bacteria, all this stuff is going to be, it's going to be horrible ways to go. And that's the scary part. And many other things that people don't really want to think about or talk about is what's going on. So that's what's going on. My wife, this happens on the 9th. I'm going to go in. She's going to get this surgery. And I'm going to be sleeping in a chair in the hospital until they release her. And then I'll bring her home, and I've got it all set up where she's going to be very comfortable. And she's very lucky to have a good husband like me that's going to take care of her, cook for her, and everything for the next 3 months. And this is why we hook up. Another video. It's better than being single when you're going to end up in situations like that and you got somebody that loves you and takes care of you. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.